Michael Ryan joining us on Indiana in the Morning on WCCS, and we'll be talking about his upcoming induction into the Pennsylvania American Legion Baseball Hall of Fame. Michael, of course, a native of Indiana, in his third season as the manager of the Altoona Curve, the Double-A affiliate of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Michael was drafted in the 5th round of the Major League Draft back in 1996 by Minnesota, playing 15 professional seasons, including 5 in the Bigs. And Michael, first of all, your Altoona Curve, 42-37 in the first half and off to a pretty good start in the second half. I know many of the top prospects have moved up to Indy or even now in Pittsburgh with the big clubs, so every year is a different challenge, right? But you're hanging in there.
Yes, absolutely. Each year it's a different group that comes in, and each year that you have to make the adjustment and see what you can do to try to get the best out of each group, and that's the fun part of the job. And credit to the guys that we have this year. I mean, their work ethic and what they do each day, it's been great, and we've exceeded some expectations so far, so challenges to try to keep it going.
Well, I certainly want to talk a little bit about your career and look back to your Legion baseball days. I know we're going to test your memory a little bit on that one. But first of all, congratulations. And speaking of Legion baseball, as I mentioned, coming up on Friday, July 26th, you'll be inducted into the Pennsylvania American Legion Hall of Fame.
Yeah, thank you. You know, if you look at the names that have been inducted into the Legion Hall of Fame, it's almost surreal that I was considered. I mean, it's the greatest honor to be inducted into any Hall of Fame, and this one is truly special to me and brings back a lot of my memories when my baseball playing days started to truly absolutely love the game, and just an honor and exciting to go back to those days and reminisce at times.
The Hall of Fame induction has traditionally been held in conjunction with the Senior American Legion State Championship banquet, and that will be the case this year. And for the first time in many, many years, I believe, the state championships are being held in western Pennsylvania up at Du Bois. But the Curve will be at home that night, so you'll have other duties against Richmond. But they're going to play a video acceptance speech from you. A couple of years ago, Neil Walker was inducted and did it the same way, and it was well received, especially from those 130 or so players in attendance. So maybe barring a rainout in Altoona, you won't be able to attend, but will you have any special message, especially maybe directed to the players about this great game?
Yeah, I think the main message to the players is to enjoy each pitch, to enjoy each inning, and to be thankful for the people that allowed you to play, whether it's a special coach that you have, especially your parents. There's a lot of people that, sacrifice things for each of those players to be able to play the game, and I think that would be my biggest message, is to not take, the relationships as far as with your teammates or the relationships that you have with your parents for granted, because, without those people, probably wouldn't be sitting in that chair at the moment.
As you mentioned, there have been a lot of former Major League greats that have played or coached in the majors that played American Legion baseball in the state of Pennsylvania and have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. I mentioned former Pirate and New York Met, Neil Walker, but guys like Stan the Man Musial, Jack Benedict pointed out this morning, Reggie Jackson, Richie Ellen, Dick Grote, former managers like Chuck Tanner, Danny Murtaugh, guys like Sean Casey, Mike Piazza, Bruce Sutter, John Smiley, so many others. I could go on and on. So, as you said, it's pretty good company that you'll join, and a pretty nice honor, isn't it?
Extremely honored. I take pride in being a humble person, and, to have my name beside names of that caliber, it's sort of, I'm not saying that it's undeserving, but sort of undeserving in my opinion. So it's a shock. It's an honor. It's just a proud moment individually for me, and also for, like I said before, the people that allowed me to play at that level, and coaches that touched me and taught me about the game, and family members that would drive me there and support me. So it's not just an individual, I think, induction, but there's a lot of people that will be going along with me.
So let's go back to those Legion days, if we can, back to the 1990s, right? If I have it figured out right, maybe 91, 92, 93 for Junior Legion, and a year later, Senior Legion. You played Junior Legion baseball here in Indiana, and a year of Senior American Legion baseball. First of all, what can you share about your Legion baseball days? days that really sticks out to you?
Well, thinking back on it, it was the thing that you looked forward to in the summer baseball, to be able to play with a team, to be a part of a team. That was truly special. And I think that for me, it was playing in Legion ball is where I really started to realize that I was a pretty good baseball player and there could be a future in this. And I can just remember getting up in the morning on days that we had games and just being so excited and putting your uniform on at 1 o'clock and just hoping it doesn't rain and making sure you don't go to Mac Park so you don't drain energy. It's just, there's so many memories about Junior Legion. One specific memory that I have is that we made the regionals down in Homer City and we had to sign in. And I got very nervous because for some reason with the Davis brothers roster, I wasn't on it and wasn't able to sign in, but apparently I got skipped. I got skipped that day, but
pretty big skip, by the way.
They found the correct roster, and my name begins with an R, Ryan, obviously, and it was cut off towards the bottom of the roster, and some of it was missing. So thankful that they found the full roster, and I was able to play. But I remember the Homer City tournament and how well it was run, and just how the field was new and built, and it was just beautiful, and it was such a great time.
Yeah, at that time I was just getting into it, and I was thinking, wonder if we could get this guy to have his family move to Homer City, but that never worked out for me. So we had to go against you.
Yeah, well, I remember, it was always special because, if you made it far, the games would be on the radio, and you always wanted to perform because you felt just like somebody was always listening, or if it was a family member that couldn't make it, being on the radio was big, and that was special.
Was there any one individual, Michael, that had maybe the greatest influence on your Legion ball?
My coach Mark Carnahan was, he was a very good baseball player himself, and I remember having conversations and little mechanical things that he would mention to me that were to help. I was very good friends with his son, Jeremy, so it's almost like Mr. Carnahan, treated me as like a son. I knew that he cared about me, and I knew that he was there to help me, and it's something that I have brought into my coaching career to try to have a player feel like that about myself, and that's something I'll never forget with Coach Carnahan. I just saw him, my little boy was playing in a baseball tournament. I was able to run into him down at a tournament in Plum just to see him, and those memories come back, and just to thank him personally and face to face was truly special, and it's something I'll never forget.
The highlight of your time in American Legion baseball then, was it the roster thing that really sticks out the most?
Well, I remember going from Little League to Junior Legion, and the biggest memory for me was how big the field was with the turnover. You go from the short bases to the long bases, and the fences are moved back. And my first year in Junior Legion, I remember I finally hit a home run in practice. Never thought that I was going to be able to because it was just so far. But, once you got a little bit bigger and stronger, then balls would go further and you could hit home runs, not with ease, but more at times. And, I just remember the first one that I finally got over the fence.
Our digital manager, John Smathers, covered your senior American Legion All-Star Game appearance at Three Rivers Stadium. Was that your first time playing in a major league ballpark, or maybe did Indiana play a game at Three Rivers Stadium before that? What do you remember about that experience?
I remember basically almost all of it. I remember I felt I did extremely well. I remember walking through the outfield fence onto the turf and how spongy it felt. It was the first time I've ever been to a major league stadium. And I thought I did well. I just didn't advance to the final All-Star game. I mean, I fielded every ball. I threw very well. I even hit a double during the game, so, my running time was pretty good, so I just didn't know what else I could have done. I remember the disappointment of not making it through, but, to be on a major league field with the caliber of players that were there, that was something that I won't forget. I remember the disappointment that I was going through right afterwards on the way home, and I think that's what drove me a little bit and raised my work ethic up and made me realize that I need to become a lot better.
Something I want to talk to you about, I shared with you when we set the time and date for this interview. We're going to be running our 23rd and 24th regional and or state tournaments in Homer City coming up. We talked about the level of baseball and how many options there are for kids now. Something that bothers me because Youth Legion baseball in particular has been near and dear to my heart for many years. I guess the subject matter, personal concern I have maybe with how we're losing slowly, or maybe even not so slowly, the sense of community. And by that I mean in cases where the community you live in becomes second to travel ball. I've read a lot on this subject and the challenges it's presenting. and some of it maybe not so flattering to how some kids and parents are being sucked into something that could be nothing more than a money grab for some of those travel ball operations. And in other cases, for higher-end talent especially, it becomes a positive thing. Do you have any feelings on that, or do you share that with me, that it is a problem for communities like Indiana, like Homer City, Marion Center, Blairsville, et cetera?
100% agree with you. I think it was 2 years ago that I was in Indiana visiting some friends and some family, and I decided to stop out to a Legion game at the ice rink fields. And it was shocking and sad, the caliber of baseball that was being played. And it was all destroyed, in my opinion, by travel baseball. No disrespect to any player that's playing Junior Legion right now or that game that I saw, but the caliber of player, if they have a decent amount of skill, they're going elsewhere to travel ball. There's a lot of the cost of the game to play now is absurd, in my opinion, especially if you're going to travel ball. If you get into the wrong program, I mean, there's plenty of travel ball programs that are just trying to get $1 into their wallet, and there's a lot of families out there that are willing to pay anything for their son to play. To me, that's very sad. There's a lot of players, particularly, I'm sure, in Indiana, Homer City, Blairsville, that don't play baseball anymore because of the cost. Just families can't afford it. I know if I was in Junior Legion at the moment, I wouldn't have had the ability to go to play travel ball because the cost was too much. If that's the place that everyone's going to play, I probably wouldn't have played baseball anymore because it was so expensive. So it's the programs that are just trying to make money and lying to some of the children or the kids or the players, and the parents are falling for it. That's what upsets me, and I think that's a lot of what's ruining the baseball caliber being played in our area.
Well said, and you're proof positive. If you're good, they'll find you, right? Hey, just a couple of minutes left before we close it up. Looking at the Pirates and some of the success that some of the younger players are enjoying right now that you coached, guys like Brian Reynolds, Kevin Newman, Cole Tucker was up for a good while with the big club and showed promise. Is there anything that's surprising you even a little bit right now with the success some of those guys are having?
I think Brian Reynolds has been just a pleasant surprise on the way that he's playing at the Major League level. I mean, if you watch the guy play, you see the skill set. He can do anything that he wants on the field. For a young player to just get caught up and have that much success at the Major League level is not saying it's shocking, but it's a big surprise. The one thing that he did very well when he was with us was he was able to make adjustments quickly, and I think that's a reason why he's having so much success in the big leagues right now, because he figures out what the opposing pitcher is trying to do to him, and he figures it out quickly, and he can make that adjustment. I'm not saying that it's a complete surprise, but he's so skilled, and the adjustments that he makes allows him to have that success.
Additionally, what about prospects like you coached last year? Brian Hayes, Will Craig have graduated from at Altoona. What about their potential looking down the road?
Yeah, very special players. I mean, you can throw Tucker along in that group. Pittsburgh got a taste of what Tucker can do. Once he figures out some things that he's going to do offensively, he's going to be the complete player. So Brian Hayes is the best third baseman that I've seen with my eyes. That's just how good he is. His father, Charlie Hayes, just did an unbelievable job with him. He's always been around the game since he was little. His hands are so soft. He knows when the baseball's coming his way before it's even hit, just by peeking in to see what pitch is coming. He's a special player. He's the best third baseman I've seen. He's going to hit. He's still only 21 years old, just turned 21. And I think that Pittsburgh is going to be very excited to see this guy come up. I mean, he's going to win multiple Gold Gloves. He's going to be a middle-of-the-order bat. He's just very good. Will Craig's a lot the same. Unbelievable power potential. He can hit the ball a long way. I think that's, a little bit of some reason why Josh Bell has turned it around. He might have felt some pressure from Will. And so Will's a little bit blocked right now, and, we love what Josh Bell's doing at the big league level, and, he's become a superstar. The future for the Pirates is very exciting. We got some players that are on the verge that are going to be there for a long time, and it's going to help the Major League team win a World Series very soon, I believe.
Well, that would be wonderful. It's been 1979. I do remember it.
Yeah, we need to get one. Let's go. He's fast.
Mike, was part of this interview going to be used as part of an article in the Western Regional and State Championship Program books for the tournaments being hosted at First Commonwealth Field in Homer City? If you had a chance to talk to each and every one of those teams and players playing Junior Legion baseball, in Homer City. What would you tell those youngsters, those 14, 15, and some 16-year-olds now?
The one thing that I would tell each player is to be where their feet are and enjoy every aspect of the tournament. There's going to be one team, I think there's going to be one team that's going to raise the trophy at the end of it, and it doesn't mean that the other teams or the other players that didn't have success mean that that was a negative experience. It goes by fast. And like I said before, the coaches, the relationships you have with your teammates, those are the things that are going to come across 20 years down the road whenever you start thinking about that experience. And I think just to try to be where your feet are and enjoy each pitch, each moment, each thing you do, and it will make that experience that much better.
All right, 3 rapid fires for you, 2 from Jack Benedict. He says he recalls the day you were drafted by the Minnesota Twins in the 5th round in, 1996?
Yes.
And he said everybody was gathered at your house. He was there, and there was pretty good thought that Minnesota would be making you a draft selection, and the phone call came, and everybody was excited, and Jack was near you, and you said, "Oh, hello, Aunt Rose." Do you recall that?
I do, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to correct Jack here just shortly. So it was my Aunt Flo, not Aunt Rose. So
could have been my bad ears too.
Yeah. It was Aunt Flo. So when the phone rang, and we didn't have the caller ID or anything, so we didn't know, who was calling. So the phone rang, everybody got quiet. We turned the music down. Everyone, was gathered around and thinking that some major league team was going to call. And I just remember saying, "Oh, no, nothing has happened yet, Aunt Flo." And then everybody was like, "Oh, my gosh." So it was probably the most disappointing call that my aunt's ever made. So
it's probably like, okay, let's get off the line here.
Yeah, so I got to go. And then, got to get these lines open here. So I don't want to miss a call if it's going to come.
And then, Jack, I don't know what it is with these stories, but he told me the story, your best day in the big leagues, 2 home runs in the same inning, only to have it wiped out by rain.
Yeah, well, that was my major league debut. We had won the AAA championship, so we had got probably 11 or 12 guys that were called up from that team in September, and the major league team had already clinched the division. So, the first day in, they played all of us younger guys, and the game really didn't mean much. So, I was in the lineup. I led off and was playing left field. Well, we ended up scoring 9 runs in the first inning. We batted around. So my first at bat, I got a base hit, came back around, scored. My second at bat, I had guys at second and third in the first inning and then got another base hit. So I was 2 for 2. I came around and scored again. 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored. All that happening in the first inning of a major league debut. So it was the first time that that's ever happened. So they grabbed my bat. They were going to put that into the Hall of Fame. They grabbed the 2 baseballs. They were going to put those into the Hall of Fame because it's the first time that someone in their debut has had 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored in the first inning. Here comes the 4th inning around. We're up 11-1 at the moment. I get another base hit, so I'm 3 for 3 now. And all of a sudden, I'm standing on second base, and it's a complete downpour. The game ended up getting rained out in the 4th. We didn't play Detroit anymore the rest of the season, so the game didn't count. So all those things got wiped out, and it's like it never happened. So there's a lot of things that have happened in my career that have been unfortunate, and that was probably the biggest one.
Okay, I thought Jack had mentioned home runs, but maybe he did. But it's still quite the story, and what would have been quite the debut that never happened. Is there a major league memory that sticks out in your big league career?
Absolutely. I got the opportunity we had some injuries at the major league level, and I got an opportunity to play every day in a pennant chase through September. We were battling the Chicago White Sox, and I played well. A couple home runs. I was getting big hits. I was really helping our club, and we ended up winning the division. But I remember a specific day where we were playing the Anaheim Angels at the time. It wasn't Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. It was the Anaheim Angels. I was a triple away from the cycle, and it was a game where we were getting blown out like 13-4. It was in the middle of a pennant race, and the Metrodome was still completely packed because they wanted to watch my last at-bat to see if I was going to get the triple. I remember I lined out. The second baseman leaped up and made a play on me. I think on the turf, if that would have gone through, I think I might have been able to get the triple. But when I lined out, I was running off the field, and I got a standing ovation by 43,000 people, and that was probably my biggest memory.
That's fantastic. Also fantastic is the fact that on July 26th, you will be getting inducted into the Pennsylvania American Legion Baseball Hall of Fame. Long overdue, well-deserved. From all of us here at Renda Broadcasting, and I can speak for Indiana County, I believe, we congratulate you. We thank you for taking so much time with me doing this interview. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate it. To anybody that was out there that has, touched my life through this game in the area, I truly thank you. This is something that I will enjoy with each and every one of you. I'm very proud to be from Indiana County, and this is just another, thing that, I can bring Indiana County along with me. So very proud, very honored, and very humbled by it.
All right. Thanks for doing this, Michael. Hope to see you at the ballpark soon. I think so many of us enjoy making that short drive up over the mountain. It's just a fantastic place to watch baseball at PNG Field in Altoona. We wish you continued success there the rest of the season.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. Come on out and support us. I mean, we're going to play some big games later in the summer, so the more support, the better. So try to bring another championship to Altoona.